This is Eric Muathe with Muathe.com. It is for June 16th, 2020, and we are seeing the market staging a nice move. At the highs of the session, the market was as high as 800 points on the Dow. So at the open, the market was substantially higher. Let's call it about 800 points on the Dow. The market is pulling back since the open. Now, as an educational standpoint, and purely as a follow-up to yesterday's video, let's take a look at the 4-hourly and the 5-minute chart for those of you who trade the small time frame. So right now we can see the market, yes, did bounce based on RSI 50 support here, and this is the 4-hourly. So there was a bounce based on support on the RSI 50 on the 4-hourly. And remember, on the 5-minute chart, we saw the market clear this line. So we can see on hindsight how this plays out. It's a great example of a breakout above a prior resistance line. So we can say this is this hourly move here. And then that same line turned into support. And again, you can see from a swing trade perspective how this plays out. So this line continues to be support, and even at the lows of today's session, this is where the market found support. Which also means, if I can start here as a follow-up, that if this line were to break, then that would be a short-term sell signal, again, only for the small time frame. Now recall, this is 5-minute RSI 26. What we can also see is that there's another line connecting RSI lows. I'm going to draw it this way. And you can see what is going on here. If the market is still looking to bounce and continue higher, then it's going to hold above these two lines as far as the RSI is concerned and start pointing to the upside again. Keep in mind, as long as it is holding above that RSI 50 with uniform action, that also favors a market moving higher from current levels. And we also know a break below these two lines would be a short-term sell signal. Again, all of this from an educational standpoint, this is how you follow markets. For swing trade opportunities, we can see again here, there's a move above that previous RSI resistance line, turned into a breakout buy line. So let me change colors here. So this breakout here followed by support on the line, the blue line that is, and support here. So if the market can bounce on this line again, then this becomes another short-term entry. Now let's go back to that 4-hourly. We'll show you a couple of lines. So line number 1 is this line here. And you can see how this was the line connecting the previous lows on the 4-hourly. With these lows here, connecting the lows throughout this process here. And what's happening right now is we've come to the underside of that line. We can also see that we can extend it out this way. But what I'm trying to say is we've come to the underside of that line. That line might turn into resistance. Let me show you another point of view, which is to take this break point here and extend it out. And what we see here again, the market telling us that once we cleared this level, we had a bias to the upside. We did break below that line. And once we broke below the line here, we had a pullback. Again, we are coming to the underside of this line. And so the market does need to clear that line. Otherwise, if this turns into resistance again, this might suggest that resistance around here means coiling down, and this being intraday highs, or at least this current levels being intraday highs, the next meaningful swing trade being down. So that's another view. There's line number 3, believe it or not. It's a different way of looking at it. with the same conclusion. And it is this RSI topside resistance line. And again, we see what happened here. We went above the line with a bias to the upside. We break below the line, bias to the downside, and now we've rallied all the way back to the line. So if I was to bring back the previous lines, it's going to be a little messy, but now you know where all those lines come from. We have the backtest line, and we have the prior break line. So this line is going to come from this break point right here, and I'm going to extend it. Now remember, this break line is significant because it brings us off the highs, all-time highs for the S&P 500. So you can see how all these lines are converging exactly where the RSI is trading, with a very simple conclusion for anybody wanting to learn how to trade the small time frame. In fact, or any time frame that looks like this. Bulls want to see the market clear these three lines to the upside so we can see further movement higher, while bears are encouraged by the pullback off the highs, because it means that the more the market is unable to move above the line, and resistance here means that the next hour to hour, day-to-day pullback or day-to-day direction is to the downside. This is Eric Muathe, Muathe.com. Let me give you the current market price right there. As always, love and light, light and love. Namaste.